We mentioned the Gemara, that the Gemara says that the Talmidei Rabbi Akiva were nostalgic in the Tkufa between Pesach and Shavuos in the days of Sefiras HaOmer. Mipnei shelo noagu kavod zeh b'zeh. And most Mefarshim explained that to mean that there was lacking in ben Adam lachaveirei. There was something wrong about the way they got along with each other. As we mentioned, they didn't have the proper respect, the kavod one for the other one. And that's what led them to be nostalgic, to have this punishment of being nifter at this time. And the Mefarshim are baffled that we don't find that there's an einish misa on not respecting one another. It's not good. It's maybe even bad. But is that something that's mechayev misa? Misa is for the biggest averes. And even more so, why specifically in the time of Sefiras HaOmer is that the time when they were nifter? And famously, the Rosh Hashiva Rabbi Aaron Kotler said, and many other Sfarim say the same thing, that because the days of Sefiras HaOmer are days of preparation for Kabbalas HaTorah, days where one has to acquire the kinyanim that are necessary for Talmud Torah, and many of these kinyanim involve inyanim of ben Adam lechaveirei. If they didn't work on these kinyanim, then they lost their schus to exist as Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. They weren't ro'ui to transmit the Messiah of Torah weiter to Klal Yisrael, and therefore there was no purpose anymore in them being around, because Rabbi Akiva had to have new Talmidim. The Marsha, however, in Masechtas Yivamis, gives a different understanding of leinoagu kavod zeh b'zeh. The Marsha says that the tviyah, the reason why they were punished was because it was lacking in kavod HaTorah. Not so much about the inyan of ben Adam lechaveirei, but they were lacking in kavod HaTorah. And in the days of Sefiras HaOmer, leading up to the Yom Tov of Shavuos, where Klal Yisrael is waiting and getting ready and preparing themselves to be mekabel the Torah again, are days where one has to have the utmost zehiras in kavod HaTorah, in the kavod of the Torah and kavod of Talmidei Chacham. What is the inyan of kavod HaTorah, and why is it so important? And what does it mean that they were lacking in kavod HaTorah? Do you think that they just were mevazah Talmidei Chachamim? Chas v'shalom. We're talking about Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi say, I think that there's a fundamental lesson to be learned over here about what kavod HaTorah is really all about. We know that Klal Yisrael is gebenched with Gedalim. We're gebenched with Manhigim. We're gebenched with Rosh Yeshivas. We're gebenched with Talmidei Chachamim. And it's very popular to respect the famous, the big Gedalim, the big Rosh Yeshivas. It's popular to have a shaykhis to them. And when we have a shaykhis to them, then we're going to try very hard to show that we respect them. But is that really the ultimate kavod HaTorah? Or is that a little bit a hero? Our heroes are our Gedalim. And when we have a hero, it's my hero. And my hero I'm going to show respect to. Where's the ultimate test of kavod HaTorah? The ultimate test of kavod HaTorah is respecting that Talmud Chacham who's not so famous. Respecting that Talmud Chacham who maybe drives a beaten down car, maybe lives in a dilapidated house. He may be even looked at a little bit as a schlepper, but you know that he's a Talmud Chacham. And someone who has true kavod HaTorah is not respecting only the famous Talmidei Chachamim, but we're respecting each and every Talmud Chacham, no matter who he is. Ultimate kavod HaTorah is mechayev, that when that younger man walks into Bes Medrash, we look at him and we feel respect for him. He's a Talmud Chacham. When a yeshiva bacher, whose meimis atzmai ba'ahala shel Torah, comes home for a Shabbos, we look with respect. A yeshiva bacher, someone who learns Torah's Hashem, someone who really appreciates what the Torah Kedosha is, someone who really appreciates what the Torah Kedosha does for all of us, has respect for each and every individual Talmud Chacham, no matter how famous, how important, what type of position he has. He's a Talmud Chacham, and that's what I respect. Leinoagu kavod zeh b'zeh doesn't mean to say that they chas v'shalom were mevaza each other. But because there was a society of so many Talmidei Chachamim, 24,000 Talmidei Chachamim, a little bit they lost that sensitivity and that chashivas of a Talmid Chacham. And when they lost that sensitivity, that was lacking in Kavod HaTorah. In order to prepare ourselves for Sefiras HaOmer, we have to work on our midas. We have to work on our ben adam l'chaverei. But we have to work on our appreciation of what Torah is and what Torah does. And the best way to show that appreciation and to work on that appreciation is by having true kavod and yes, ahava for each and every Talmid Chacham, no matter who he is, no matter how he looks, no matter how he carries himself. But the fact that he's a Talmid Chacham, that's what I respect. If we work on this, in these days of Sefiras HaOmer, we're going to develop our own Kavod HaTorah. And then we're going to develop our own Kavod HaTorah and our own she'ifas to become bigger Talmidei Chachamim. And yes, that our children should be Talmidei Chachamim. Man derachim rabbanon, havele benin rabbanon. Someone who loves Talmidei Chachamim is zeichet to have children Talmidei Chachamim. It's not a sgula, it's a metzias. Because if we're going to develop that appreciation and that ahava for a Talmid Chacham that's appreciating the Torah Kadesha, that's appreciating what Torah is and what Torah does, that type of person deserves that his own children should be Talmidei Chachamim. And as the Gemara goes weiter, man dedochel rabbanon, if we have such a yiras hareimus for a Talmid Chacham, we ourselves can become Talmidei Chachamim. So the Eibush to helfen. We should use out this inyan of Kavod HaTorah in the days of Sefiras HaOmer to prepare ourselves by realizing and recognizing what Torah is, what Torah does, and how chashiv each and every Talmid Chacham is.